You're good? How's the journey?
Good. You
Yeah.
know, it's here's the truth though. I think most of these job postings are not real. It doesn't add up. What's out
100%.
there and then how many people are looking. That it was like you would fill them right away.
Right
That
away.
you shouldn't be reposting and posting and all that. And people are you just get hits with people you know.
Yeah.
Like my old boss talked to me this week and he was like, I got something. And I was like,
Do you know?
please,
Yeah.
please. But you know what? It's not posted.
Uh-huh.
He's
That's what I'm
writing it.
saying. Like it's more about you gotta like talk to, like that's why for me, I'm like always trying to shuffle people into someone's inbox because if they're not gonna get it from LinkedIn, to be honest. Like, and if it is it's a job that's not at your level. Like you'll be going for a much more a junior role, I think are often filled this way,
Exactly.
but yeah, not senior roles. Yeah.
No,
I agree.
exactly. And friends and family, I was talking to my husband about this. I said, and I wrote something about it. I journal things.
Me too.
Friends and family will steer you towards what's safe and usually below the level that you were at.
100%.
They're like, oh, just take this. It'll be fine. Right. And they love you. That's why they want you to be safe,
Exactly.
you know?
No, and it's based on their like upbringing and like, like what hurt them in the past. They're trying not to let you go down the same mistakes that they went, but obviously their issues or challenges are not our challenges. So I forgot I
Yeah. But
triggered a
don't do
bunch of
that.
people. Exactly. Like I know how that's gonna turn out. You want any part of that.
Yeah.
All right, awesome.
Yeah. One of my friends, she told me this a couple of years ago. She said, don't play small.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, here we go.
There are 7 people online. Like maybe I should post I'm like always
Where are
wondering
they?
if people are struggling, to figure out what to click on. Let me unpin Joe's post and then I'll repin my post. Unpin from
Yeah, for
feed.
some reason, I have it as 3 o'clock
Oh,
every time. It's a reoccurring thing. I
yeah, I don't know why, because I
guess I
know
can
I
just
get an
change the date
email when
myself
you
or
join and I
time.
was like, why did I figured you just joined early. Okay, here we go. Oh, let me.
I'm not that ambitious.
Yeah, right. I'm like, all right, well prepared. Starting now.
And you look very official today. Like you're
I
in a
know,
suit.
right?
What's going on?
I know. I'm actually at a client right now. This is how I dress when I'm at work. Normally I'm in my office. Join us for AI Leadership Institute. Oops, just kidding. Happy hour. And then I should probably grab the link and make it super easy for people. Oh my gosh, what? School. There we go. Let me grab the link. There it is. Control,
Your
copy.
AI pin is a little turned.
Oh, it is. You're right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Only on Zoom you get like wardrobe feedback. There we go. Post and general discussion. All right, post. There we go. Now hopefully some of them will head on over here. Oh, and I'm gonna pin it. Pin to feed. Cool. So I will jump right in. This is being recorded. What's up, Sandrine? Welcome. Hopefully my internet's not terrible. It looks like super laggy on my side, but not for you guys look great, but my video looks a little laggy. So if it gets annoying, I will just turn off my video. But good to see you, Sandrine. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. We're not going to do like we had a really great call in the AI Leadership Institute earlier today. We're not going to do all of that, but it was cool. It was very fun. So thank you, Sandrine, for being there. We are going to, so today I wanted to give you a couple updates. So one, we are launching a new onboarding process. It's almost done. It'll probably go out today. We also have the last module was released, benefits, I think, of AI in the AI Leadership Masterclass. So if you want to go take a look at that, the last module will drop this weekend. It is called, it's basically the myths. It's a myth busting section on how to, make sure we're not over relying on this technology to do kind of pie in the sky, boil the ocean things, like what is the reality behind AI? And then we will finish it with a little primer in responsible AI. And then that is actually the first week in a 5-week course. And I thought it'd be cool, especially for you, Michelle and Rick, to actually see what the curriculum looks like. I think it's on this page. I'm going to share this page. I might have to unshare it, but I think it's in here. Here it is. So this is what the curriculum looks like, the way that, and I know it's really small, so maybe I'll make it a little bit bigger for your benefit. Oh dear. Oh, there we go. It's getting there. So these are all the modules that basically what I do typically is I get on a stage, right? You all know that I speak on stages. My stage world is kicking up. I've had 2 months of time with my family, or I've only gone to events that I personally wanted to go to. They weren't like, booked out by my speaking agent or anything like that. But my agent work starts at the end of next week. My first event is with TrueStage, which is a financial company. Right after that, I'll be in Chicago for the National Association of Realtors IOI Summit. And then I'm booked every week, multiple events per week through December. So what often happens is I get on stage and I do my keynote, which has this beautiful story arc about how to build responsible AI at scale. This fall, I just sent my manuscript to Wiley for publication on Tuesday. I've already got a couple edits that I need to make, but 59,000 words. It'll be like 62 when we're all said and done, but that is in final editing. So we have about 4 weeks until that goes to production, and then another 4 weeks till it's actually available for print. You all will be the first to get copies, physical copies. I will sign them. You'll be my first to get them. And then, but on these stages, of course, right now I don't have a book and they're still booking me, but many times when you have a book, it kind of opens up another level of aperture for you to, for different organizations who are looking for speakers. And I've lost many a keynote opportunity because I didn't have not that I have many books that I self-published, but they wanted a book that was published by a Wiley or a Penguin or someone like that. And so, so that's one of the reasons why I made the investment. So when I get on stage, I do talk about kind of how to build responsible AI at scale. I talk about my journey, but most importantly, I teach them kind of the 3 main principles of building and innovating with AI, like how to create AI transformation in the organization. And at the very end of that talk, over the last maybe 6 months, I've started asking, I basically started telling the audience, now, the most important thing you can do is train your people, like your workforce, enable your workforce with this education so that they can start optimizing the things they do every day. And from that discussion, I get contracts to teach workshops. So I have about 6, 7 workshops that I teach. This one is my AI Leadership Masterclass. It's the second class I teach after the keynote presentation. Sometimes it's a keynote, sometimes it's an executive session, sometimes it's a talk in the SKO for the company, like just depends on the organization. But that first thing is the keynote talk, which is about an hour. The next one is basically a 2-day workshop, and that is the AI Leadership Essentials class. So I recorded 3 or 4 of them. I transcribed it. I then used that transcription to create all of these modules. So this is from deliveries that have been very successful that clients have liked, which is why I created this content. But what didn't occur to me before, which I am now going to do, is that people that took this masterclass in person, I never really thought to add them into the AI Leadership Institute community, and then they would get like recorded versions of it. So if they needed to brush up on something or forgot something, they could go and look it up. So that is what we're gonna be doing on the AI Leadership Institute side. But I want just to, so that you could see the context in which this week, which this has been recorded, but I haven't edited it yet. So I'm going to get that out hopefully by tomorrow. But this myth busting and responsible AI will be the end of week 1. And if you haven't taken it, you should definitely take it. I'd love your feedback. It's, again, that content's been pretty well tested, but it's always changing, right? The world is always changing. I tried to make it evergreen, but as you go through it, would love to hear what you think of it, what questions it provoked. But it is part of this kind of 5-week series. And so I always like to share with you kind of how I came up with it. Like I said, this is actually from live presentation material. that I just had it transcribed. What does Noel normally say? The book that I have coming out is called Scaling Responsible AI from Enthusiasm to Execution, is the subtitle. On the cover, I'll share with you the cover as soon as I get it. It's in its final edits right now, but it has a tiger on the cover, which I'm super excited about. And it is all, really about going from idea to pilot to production. And most organizations are just failing miserably at one or more of those stages. So I thought I'd share with you. Pretty cool stuff. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining. Sujin is here. What's up? So good to see you. And Laverne. Oh, we got some favorites in the house. So nice to see you all. Hey, hi. Awesome. And thank you all for testing out my mediocre AI, whatever it was, automation. I was just playing around with it. I actually kind of was looking to create ways. Somebody had sent me a message and was like, we should do some fun stuff like testing things out in the free community. I was like, that's a great idea. So I just created that automation out of a comment that someone sent me in the DMs. I was like, I could create an automation and then you'd earn this, you basically would earn the ability to see the prompt guide that I generated. So let me show you where that is. For those of you who don't, maybe, I don't know how much you spend time in here right now. We have more people now online than we have on this call, but that's okay. We'll see what happens. They're welcome to join. Hopefully it's not confusing and they can't find the link. It doesn't look like I hyperlinked that, so that's unfortunate. Maybe I did. Oh yeah, I did. Okay. Oh, okay. Can I join without? Of course. Come on in. Absolutely. You can always join. You could talk, not talk, be on video, not be on video. Yes, of course. I don't know what it says exactly because my little windows, let me see. Oh yeah, of course. Oopsie. Yes, of course. All are welcome here. Okay, cool. And I, just so you all know, some of you don't know me personally, but I'm an exclamation point user, kind of the way GPT uses too many emojis. I use too many exclamation points. I almost never mean them to be yelling or excited. It's just the way that I type. So just be aware of that. Oh, look, we got 11 people online. Hopefully they'll make their way over. We'll see what happens. But one of the things I want to share with you, and I will show you. So in the classroom, you won't see it yet because I haven't published it. But down here at the bottom is our new onboarding. So I will be launching that this weekend. You'll all get an email probably on Sunday or Monday morning because I can't send everybody an email until 72 hours from today. But when I send it, you'll get an invitation to go through the onboarding. The cool thing about the onboarding is that you are going to get a couple of things. So you'll notice here, there's some book resources I put. Why did I put that in here? Anyway, one of the things we're going to be creating is a custom GPT for this community, which will be educated and trained in sourcing information that we've talked about in the community chat, as well as all the content inside of each one of these. So that way there's just like nice little, basically it's how Noel thinks about things, frameworks I've come up with, ideas I have around leadership and entrepreneurship, all of that will be available, but you only get access to that GPT if you are at level 2. I think most of you are at level 2, but speaking of which, let's just go and take a look at the levels. I'm going to go back to the community, see if I can find myself. There I am. Oh dear. Oh gosh, that's not what I meant to. Oh my goodness. Stop. Oh my gosh. Just kidding. My mouse was going a little crazy. I don't know why it's doing. Oh my goodness. What is happening right now? Can you guys still hear me? Because my computer is acting very strange. All right. I'm refreshing. Are you still there? There we go. All right. I must have just accidentally.
We can hear.
Okay, good. Thank you. Sorry about
Okay.
that. Thank you. Okay. So a couple things about participating in the community. So you can see here, I crafted these wonderful levels. However, I didn't really give you a reason to achieve them. So in the next few days, you'll have an opportunity to actually level up and get some cool stuff. I also want to share with you that there's an opportunity, if you choose to accept it, to actually get leveled up in the school platform. And that means that you get certain rewards if you are just a member of the school platform, and that is the platform that this sits in. So you can see here, these green dots represent any single day that I've done or delivered more than 10 activities. And that means liking someone's post, commenting on something, posting something, like any 10 activities on the platform. If you do 10 a day for 30 days, you guys remember when I had a little fire emoji next to me? So if you do it for 30 days, you get a fire emoji that says you're on fire and you're communicating and you're like one of the most important, coveted, treasured members of not just our community, but all communities on the school platform. You'll notice here, I have 2 days where I did not hit that, which is I was already had fire going. It was amazing. And then my husband's birthday, and I gladly gave up my fire emoji to spend a completely dedicated day to my husband and family. So I lost my emoji, but I'm well on my way. I think I got 2.5 weeks in. So like another week and a half and I'll have my fire emoji back, but it is for 30 days of continued effort. I will tell you the nice thing about it is it puts me in a habit of coming in and just appreciating people's posts. So I just go in and I just like people's stuff. I make sure that everyone kind of feels heard. I comment on things. And so it does keep me engaged and coming back to the platform every day. So that's something I do just because I do love community and hanging out together. But some of you might be wondering what the levels are. So here they are for the I Love AI community. Starts at beginner. So beginner, you just get here, you get to join a welcome call. But on level 2, AI Explorer, you will unlock access to the custom I Love AI GPT. And once you have access to that, you can use it for whatever you'd like. It's inside ChatGPT. You don't need a license or subscription to use it. It'll be a really fun way for you to access information, even if you're not in the platform. Then at level 4, which gets a little harder, you can see we've got 81% of people at level 1, only 11% at level 2, which is why we're doing this challenge, so you can unlock an opportunity. But at level 4, you will get what today, if you, yes, right? We got some in the house, some OGs in the house. But when you get to level 4, right now, if you go to TopMate, my TopMate profile, which is where I do a lot of my consulting, I sell a 1 hour, either individual or business assessment. It's a 39 question assessment that I created to help me figure out what you need help with. And so not only do you get the assessment, but you get Noelle's very personal one-on-one time for an hour to kind of go through creating a plan, either for your career or for your business. It's up to you which side you want, you choose to land on, or as the last 3 of them have actually been a little bit of both. So there are people who started off saying, I think I want a job, and then ended up being like, well, maybe I should start my own business. And so that's fine too. I'm going to go and show you what that looks like. TopMate, Noelle, there I am. So I'm one of the early members of this platform, but this platform allows you to sell your time. So you can provision different services and resources. You can see here, you can get my AI readiness assessment. This one's for businesses. The readiness assessment typically, and it'll show you, hopefully in a second, maybe I should have done this in incognito. Control C. Let me go incognito. There we go. That way it doesn't know that I've been logged in, because I want to see it like you would see it, because that was a little different. There we go. Maybe it looks the same. But you can see here, I do have a, so first it gives you a cute little, they do all this, like the platform provides these coupons to create engagement. And then when you scroll down, you can see, here's my Gemini. I used to give this in this platform, and I just for it, I think I've sold money. You'll see this in the community, but it's, literally in the game, right? In real value if you're not. Hopefully, if you're in level 4, you're kind of trying to build something. Okay. Oh, you guys see. Yeah, so it comes with a 39 question assessment. You get it ahead of time. So as soon as you hit level 4, I'll be emailing you an assessment, which is an automation that I created. So you'll automatically get that assessment. And then once you get that assessment, you get it back to me. And as soon as I get it back, we schedule a call to go through it. And it's super fun. So hopefully that will be cool for you. All right, awesome. The next thing, let me go back to our leaderboard. So the next thing, and you can see down here, like we are also giving away prizes for people at different levels of the leaderboard. We got some new activity on the 7-day. I'm super excited. Talisha has been at the top because she helps everyone. So she's always commenting on people, and that's the way you get points. So she's always commenting and helping people out. She's so awesome. She's always contributing her knowledge and supporting people as they ask questions. And so as a result, she's like rocked the top of the leaderboard for quite some time. But Joe and Priscilla are new members to the leaderboard, so that's kind of cool. So super excited to see them there. So like I said, level 2, you get a custom GPT. Level 4, you get a one-on-one with me. Level 7, AI Visionary, which is the level I am at now. You will get the ability to you'll get an invitation, which allows you to come to one of my events. So I will give you a pass to whatever event you want that's on my list. I'll get you a free pass. This could be a value up to $4,000. I mean, Microsoft Build, I think is $2,000. Like, so this could be a pretty big value, but more importantly, you'll get to go backstage with me when I do my keynote. Like, you'll get kind of a really cool premiere treatment. And then finally, for those who get to level 9, and we're a young community, so I haven't even gotten to level 9, but I hope to beat you all there. I should be the one posting the most, but as you get to level 9, you'll get free lifetime access to the AI Leadership Institute, which is where we host live learning labs. We have certifications that you can attain for bot building and super user training for Microsoft Copilot and Google Gemini. So really cool stuff. Right? Let's go. Yes. So, and it's easy. All we have to do is like love on each other in the, like, we just have to be nice, comment, and hit in every day and just support each other. So, but really cool stuff. So you'll see all of that documented right now. I didn't even know. I just created these levels really out of my mind. Like, I was just like, oh, it'd be really cool. I want to be a visionary. I want to be a leader. I want to be an innovator. So I made them up. And then I went to someone else's school. I'm like, you give people stuff for leveling up? So let's go. So I decided to go ahead and do the same thing. Thought it would be pretty fun. So that is kind of coming up pretty soon. I'll just show you the classroom. So this is the Leadership Masterclass. These are the classes that are available right now. We just dropped key benefits. Myth busting will go out later today. Well, I'm sorry, later this weekend, because I'm on the road right now. But when I get back to the office, I will put it up. And then you will have the ability. This is basically called the AI Leadership Masterclass Lite. So you will get a certificate of completion when you completed all the sessions. But of course, I have to drop them all before you can get that. So hopefully you'll all take all the sessions. Every one of them does have, if you're not a video person or you can't listen to video for whatever reason, I did try to create a really interactive transcript for all of the sessions so that you could follow along with the transcript. And even if you don't watch the video, you'd be able to understand all the concepts. There's some pretty cool stuff in there. I've gotten lots of great feedback so far. Let's see, anything else? I think I rewrote the about page. Thank you to everybody who's provided testimonials so far. I am using some of them for anyone who joins so that they know we're nice people and we're nice to each other. So that's been really helpful. But if you have a testimonial, you can always do that. I'll drop the chat link in the chat. It just means, but know that, and I tell this to everybody, like I might use it in a podcast, or I might use it on our community, and just tell people, like, I don't want you to say anything you don't mean. Oh yes, right? Let's go. So it is HTTPS love, I'm writing it in for you, .noellerussell.ai. So it is love.noellerussell.ai. And so hopefully that pre-frames you to think about loving, kind thoughts before you lay on the testimony. But this comes from a platform, and I say this to you just as professionals, if you want to, I would encourage you, no matter what you do and how you do it, to start getting people to say how they feel about you in a way that's not tied to a single platform, meaning like LinkedIn recommendations or Google reviews. So I use a platform called Senja, but there's a lot. Testimonials too is another one. Senja, I think it's senja.com. I'm not sure. Let me click on that link and see. That is not it. Don't click on that. Sorry. Maybe it's like senja.io. I don't know. Let me see. I'm going to try this one. No, it's not it. Oh, yeah, that's it. Senja.io. Good guess. All right. So I fixed that link. Sorry about that. But this is the platform I use. I pay for a subscription. So everywhere I go, anytime I'm like, if somebody sends me a LinkedIn and says, oh my gosh, I absolutely love the keynote you did today. It was so fantastic. I have two choices. I can send them a link to say, hey, if you go to love.noellerussell.ai, you can send me a testimonial. I would love it. but I can also just clip their review from LinkedIn and put it in my testimonials list, which is really kind of nice because then I don't have to ask them for anything. I do often though ask them if I can have permission to use the thing that they said. And then they say yes. I've never had anyone say no. And then I can just clip it and then I don't have to write it because they already wrote it without knowing that they were writing it for the world. They just wrote a nice thing on LinkedIn. And so I can just take it and copy it over. I don't have to copy. It's a little Chrome extension. So very cool. Awesome. So that is amazing. If you want to be one of our testimonials that we highlight, I do have one from you, Yuvika. Actually, I feel like I used it in one of my presentations recently. But it's a great way to, of course, support our cause. The number one thing I want to do is create a space, of course, this community, create a space for us to get together, learn, and most important, like teach what we know, but also learn things we don't know from each other, from each other's lived experience, from each other's industries. I think there's a huge collection of industries represented in our community now. So since the last time we talked, hooray for us, we passed 700 members. We are now up to 714, and I haven't started advertising. Like this is just word of mouth so far. So we are going to start doing ads, which will generate additional uptick. However, I review every single person. For those of you who came in at 300 members or sooner or later, anyway, those of you who came after we hit 300 members, I now ask everyone, and some of you will know this, ask everyone 3 questions. I ask them their name, ask them the industry they're in, I ask them for their email address, and then I ask them for their goals. This allows me to detect if someone's a bot. So for example, a bot tried to add themselves to our group and it literally said for all the answers, good. What's your name? Good. What's your industry? Good. And I would imagine if you put this on autopilot, which a lot of people want to do, like it would get through because something was written in and it was like good@good.com. Like I was like, oh, geez. So needless to say, good did not get added to our community. I reject 2 to 3 memberships a day. So I am very particular about who gets to join our community. If they look like they're just here to sell something, if they look like, like your goal should be something around, I want to learn AI. Like it should be something around that. And many times people are like, I'm trying to sell something or I'm all into Bitcoin or whatever. Like if AI is not in any part of your goal, I usually don't allow them into the community unless I know them. And then sometimes I will let them in. So that is, I just wanted to give you a little bit of like the behind the scenes so you understood, if I am on, like right now, you don't see any, but sometimes I show my screen and it'll say like 15 member requests and only 2 people are let in. Like that could be one of the reasons. And especially as we start driving. So I'm going to start doing paid traffic, which means I'm going to set ads up on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok in order to let people know that we're here and that the class is done. So the reason I haven't done that is because the masterclass, I've just been dripping out content. Now that that's up and we have an onboarding process and we have a way to level up in the community, now I'm ready to kind of open the floodgates. I think our community will start growing pretty quickly, which means we already have a couple kind of self-identified moderators and helpers in the community. But if you are looking to, maybe become part of the community, or if you want to be part of, we have what's called a leadership specialist team. These are people that'll help onboard new members of the community. If you're interested, just send me a DM. You could chat with here, but you could better send me a DM so that I can start the conversation with you. It's not an interview process, but I do want to let you know what you're in for. If you want to onboard users, there's a way we do it. There's a call that we go on. There's a process. So if you are interested though in helping out, it also will be tied to getting revenue on those people that choose to move into the AI Leadership Institute. And again, we don't hard sell the Leadership Institute, but we do provide an affiliate fee, like a referral fee for anybody that you talk to that moves over and becomes a paid member of the premium community. So if that's something that you're interested in, whether you're looking to add a little additional revenue, whether you want to make that like your full-time gig, it's going to get pretty real over the next couple months as we start turning on ads and creating nurture sequences to help people get certified in bot building. I think it's pretty exciting. All right, cool. Now, really quickly, some updates in the world of artificial intelligence. I think it's really interesting. I've been pulled into quite a few conversations because we obviously are in an election year. We're in the last 70 something days of the election. Misinformation, bots, Dominion, something like there's a lot of noise, I think, right now. But the interesting thing is that last 4 years ago, when we were doing this, there was a lot more concern about AI than there is now. And I don't know why that is, but a lot more organizations were very, very concerned about like how AI might impact the election. I think people today are a little bit more concerned about humans in impacting the election. I think they're more concerned about the human behavior than they are about AI. But I have been involved in conversations on Capitol Hill and in Washington, D.C. around how do they create simple detection systems to know if content that's being shared is misinformation, fact checking the fact checker, deepfake diagnostics, deepfake identification, deepfake detection, those types of things. So has content that looked real been manipulated or synthesized? And so maybe that'll give you some comfort, is that there are media organizations like National Public Radio that are implementing these systems to make sure that they're not proliferating information that isn't true. The sad thing is that not all organizations care to do such things, but NPR does. So I love them and they're awesome. So yes, it's pretty amazing. Oh, absolutely. So Sujin, so glad you're here. Sujin is one of our newest members. So glad that you came. Thank you. And you commented in the chat. So thank you for that. And so now other things, let's see really quickly. I do want to let you know how I keep up to date with things, but Microsoft recently launched a responsible AI campaign. So they've created a series of videos. They're like 1 to 2 minutes on how to build responsible AI at scale. That being said, which dovetails directly into my book, I actually have a request to Sarah Bird, who runs the responsible AI product team at Microsoft, to write my foreword. I don't know if she will. She's super introverted, so I don't know if she will, but I asked her because she's super cool, and I would love to give her the spotlight if I can, and the work that they do there. But one of the things that I loved about the campaign that they launched was that it was a result of activity that was happening the reason I want to share with you is I think it's a really good practice that I hope more organizations adopt. But at Microsoft, they of course have Microsoft Research, and in research, they have a woman heading up the research organization that is basically the academic side of the company. And then they have policy. So they have Natasha Crampton is her name, I think, but she runs policy for Microsoft. How do they make sure that they implement AI policies and are in compliance with government regulations? So, right, get this, we have academic, we have policy, government, and then they have Sarah Bird, who runs product. So whenever you're implementing AI into your organization, I think it's really important to think of it in these 3 ways, right? You want to have some tie, and now granted, you don't have to build an academic arm in your company, but you should have some tie to like Stanford or MIT or some academic research organization that can help you speed the process of demonstrating what you want to maybe do in production. So I am a big fan of the work at Stanford. Stanford has an organization called the Center for, it's an organization for human-centered AI. It's where the Foundation Models organization and collaboration came from. It's where Helm originated, which is the holistic evaluation of language models, a benchmark used by enterprises to figure out whether models are toxic or not. So having that academic like perspective is so critical as you're productizing research, which is literally what AI is. And so I think it's very useful for you to think about when you're in a company or talking to a company, whether you're a business, selling to a company or you're inside a company, how are you representing kind of the academic research perspective, the policy and regulation and compliance perspective, and of course, the product and business perspective. And so Microsoft has created a branch for all 3 of those. I'd like to say wonderfully, they are all currently led by amazing, empowered women, which is cool. Like that's pretty rare. They're all executives. So it's kind of neat to see that happen. but yeah, so that's, I found it really interesting that they've now launched this kind of campaign to demonstrate all the work that they've done. But a lot of it started in research, some of it started in compliance. And of course, Sarah Bird has been running the development of product features and capabilities to ensure that their models are responsible and fair and safe. So that product suite is known as Azure Content Safety. And what my favorite feature that was just announced to go GA this last week is called groundedness detection. And what this means, I think actually a couple of us commented on this post, but what groundedness detection means is that it allows you, what used to happen is that you would talk to a GPT model or a generative model, it would talk back to you. And if it told you something that wasn't the truth, you wouldn't necessarily know it unless you went and researched the thing it gave you and went, wait, let me double check that. The burden was on the user. Imagine your customer gets inaccurate information. The burden was on the customer to figure out that it was wrong, right? So you've missed this opportunity to catch an answer before it hits your customer or the user. You want to catch it before that and go, wait, is that right or not? And so that's what this model does, is it allows you to now validate, is the data, the answer that's being generated, is it grounded in information that is sourced? And if it is, it's green and goes to the customer who made the call. If it isn't, it gets like locked into kind of like those emails when they go into quarantine. So it's basically put into quarantine and you get to review it. This gives you an opportunity to use reinforcement learning with human feedback and basically train the model that, oh, you obviously weren't clear on what to do here. Here's where it's grounded, or this isn't grounded at all. You should never answer questions like this. But in either way, it ends up creating a better system prompt for you. And the most important thing is that you've now got a layer between the model making answers that maybe could be harmful and the user getting those answers. You've now got this quarantine system. And the beauty of it is that it's automatic. So I just wanted to share with you that. Any questions, comments?
Yeah, now I have a question. So
Sure.
most of the company, it looks like most of the company has to have like one AI expert to be able to keep up with all the, evolution and everything. So what if you are maybe a small company and try to generate more revenue, and you cannot maybe have the mean to have one AI expert? In that case,
100%.
what should be your approach? Is yourself, you need to educate yourself, or you need to go in partnership with another company? So what will be your approach in that case?
Yes, great question. So yeah, I think there's a couple different options. I mean, it's very unrealistic, I think, for an executive or a leader in a company to now go and become an AI expert. Like there's lots of people who think they can do that, but it's not realistic, mainly because they don't have the receipts, the stats. Like you don't have like what do they say in like athletics? Like they haven't put in the reps, the repetitions in order to have experience building these systems at scale. So you do want to find someone who has this experience. And here's the best part is you don't need to be friends with them. You don't need to even pay them, but you should watch them. And you don't, like, for example, we all know that there's some influencers in the marketplace that have like long-term experience in this space. I was, for example, looking for someone to write my foreword. And I was like, who have I been working with for more than 5 years in the space of AI, specifically democratized AI? And so I looked at all the people at Microsoft and Amazon, like SageMaker, and you can find this out on LinkedIn. Like just look at their street creds and follow those people that are in this space. I always say, like me, I'm not one to necessarily create, go and like email people and be like, hey, can we be friends? I just like to follow people who are demonstrating like that they're up to date on things. So one of the people that I happen to be friends with him, but if I wasn't, I would just follow him, which is Steve Nouri, Nouri. He's actually from, I think, Sydney or something like that. He might be in Australia or New Zealand or somewhere in Asia Pacific, but he's really great. And I'll go to the LinkedIn. Oopsie. Let's see, where am I? Here we go. LinkedIn. See if I can look him up so you guys could see him. But I like to follow. So to answer your question very specifically, I like to follow the areas. very specific people that are like keeping pulse on the world. And that way I limit the noise, right? Like the signal to
Okay.
noise ratio will just help you. And again, this is only for those organizations that are small and kind of scrappy and trying to figure it out on their own. You
Mhm.
will inevitably, if you're that person, you'll inevitably become kind of the quasi expert. But the cool thing, and this is what I encourage all of you to do, is that if you engage with his content, this is how I became friends with him. Like I met him after the fact during South by Southwest. Oh, it looks like he's in San Francisco. So when I met him, I was in Australia at South by Southwest, which is why I must have thought he's from there, but I guess he's not. But he just created a generative AI community. You're welcome to like look it up. I mean, but the idea is like he's doing all this work, like it's his job. He's got a bunch of researchers and analysts, and they're like pulling data and running reports. And so a lot of his content, oops, sorry, I probably shouldn't let y'all see like all these comments. Oh, good, it was nothing. I'm just gonna say discard. I don't even know what I was writing. I think it was probably an accident. But if I go to his profile, and he has 2 million followers, like that's a good indication of someone's like, okay, but he's been in this space a while. He's got, you know, content at MIT, Harvard Business Review, right? Like these are the kinds of people that I try to focus on. So this is one of them. I mean, so this is one example. And so you can go through and kind of see the type of things that he posts. And another, because I would be remiss if I didn't mention a woman, but one of my good friends, and again, this is not a good example because I know these people, like they've been at my house and I've hung out with them over coffee. But even if I didn't, like I would just follow them and watch their content and use them as a bit of a barometer of what to pay attention to and what not to pay attention to. I would not suggest you have more than 2 people that you follow in this way, because sometimes, and this happens to me all the time, people have conflicting views. And right now, no one knows. It's a speculation. It's a speculative game. And so people are going to talk as if it's fact, even though it's actually just their opinion, which is why I go back to like, make sure you have that academic foundation. So I would say like, I want academics because they're going to tell me the truth. And then I want policy because they're going to tell me how do I not break the law or how do I stay compliant. And then product are going to push the envelope a little. Like Steve Norrie is a product person. Allie's a product person. So sometimes when they talk, they kind of over exaggerate on some things or they are generalized in some areas. So I also follow, and I don't follow them on LinkedIn, but let me go to Stanford HAI. Oh, I don't know why that happened. Okay, I'm gonna try and go to them on the on their website, Stanford. I'll just say Stanford. Okay, there we go. And then I'm gonna say, let's see, can I do this? Human centered. Oh no, that's not gonna work. I'll just keep trying. Stanford human centered AI. There it is. Perfect. Oh, I did hit it, didn't I? Okay, hold on. There we go. All right, here we go. So Stanford HAI, I follow this. Like there's an opportunity, I'm on their email list. I get their latest research. So they run a AI model index report every year that is so good and nobody reads it. So just by staying up to date on that, you end up being ahead of 99% of everyone else that you're going to talk to. But this, oh, here it is. Yeah. So this is like the index report for AI. It's really cool stuff. So things in there are like, what country is leading in model development, or how many models have been created by different industries. There's just so much, really, I'll just go into the report so you can kind of see some of the pieces, but like industry stuff, human task identification, like just really cool stuff. So this is again, me kind of replicating what Microsoft did. I have Stanford human-centered AI as like my academic grounding. And then I have like Steve Norrie and Allie, who are kind of on the product side that are giving me kind of product vision and direction guidance where I'm like, oh, I see what you're doing there. Yeah, I like it. And then for policy, and don't judge me, but I do like gov.ai. So gov.ai is, I think that's right. Hopefully. Oh no, that's not it. AI.gov. Let's see. It's one of these. Yeah, AI.gov. That's cool. I don't know if you all knew this. So I've invested heavily in the country of, how do you say it? Anguilla. Anyone know? anyway, that country has the extension, all of our extensions, .tv, .com, like they're all country extensions, right? From the early days of the internet to identify what universities were in which country. So I have to show you this now because it's very cool. So AI, gov AI. Yeah. This country owns all the .ai extensions. And unlike .com, who sold their rights to sell to like GoDaddy and domain registrars, this government kept the rights to those domains and takes all of that revenue. You should look up this story. It is such a cool story of how our fascination with artificial
Anguilla.
intelligence. Thank you, Anguilla. Thank
Yeah.
you. I know, I'm like, Anguilla, it's terrible. I'm a terrible American. It's terrible. Anguilla, yes. But how cool is that, right? Like as a country, they are, because of our like cool, we want to be cool with AI. I created a Noel.ai, NoelRussell.ai, NoelSilver.ai. Like I have bought so many domains from them, and that money goes directly to the development of their country, which is so awesome. I think it's awesome. So cool story to go look into. But back to what I was saying about like, I use Stanford for my human-centered AI for my kind of academic grounding. I use some influencers like Ali and Steve for my like product vision stuff. And then in the middle, I do look at the work that our federal government is doing. I was involved in many conversations that formed the executive order. And I just think this is probably the most expensive research that has been done on AI in the form of government regulation and regulated industry. So it's a great place to go if you're kind of looking for foundational elements. Another thing is when I go into a company and I talk to them about building regulatory standards or policy, I tell them just model the policies that the government has created, because the government didn't create this. This wasn't like two people sitting in a government office. Like they hired the best, not just in the country, but in the world to come together and help craft. So it's a really good resource to go through. Awesome. Thanks for posting that, Rick. That's awesome. And of course, follow me. Like I got some newsletters and stuff. No.
Of course.
Yeah, no, I figure if you're here, you already know me, but I wanted to, so thanks for that question. Cause yeah, even that might seem a little overwhelming, but it's now like 6 sources instead of like the ocean of the world, right? Like inundating me with information. And if anyone has additional resources that they use, just throw them in the chat. I think it'd be awesome. We're going to save this chat. So, Michelle, what was 500 pages? Oh, the Adobe Content Authenticity. Yeah.
Thank you, Noel.
You're welcome. Great question. Thank you so much. All right, awesome. Yeah, and like it was a great, I'm glad we recorded that. I'm gonna like snip it and put it in the community. Like if you're looking for how to follow the madness of AI. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing. Let's see. Any other questions, comments in our happy hour? Exciting news or updates from your side of the world?
I'm
Barbara
kinda curious.
Fernandez is here. I just want to say hi. Hi, it's so good to see you. Go ahead, Rick. Sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of see who's following who, where's the go-to. I always look at Matt Wolf just for fun and some
Oh,
comedy.
sure.
And then Lex Fridman for really in-depth 4-hour-long, you know everything now. Like
Yeah,
now
it's
I know
literally
Kung
on
Fu.
both sides of the spectrum, right? Like the
Yeah.
super light and then super not light. So yeah, agreed.
And then
If you wouldn't mind throwing some of those links in for everybody, that would be
Okay, sure.
awesome.
Yeah.
You were
Are
about to
there
say
any
something else,
ones
sorry.
that you like to follow, or
Me?
anybody likes to follow? Like,
Oh,
what's
yeah.
the go-to for most people here? I'd love to share.
Yeah, if anyone has any other people that they listen to, like podcasts. So of course I produce and I produce, I always say like I produce before I consume. So that means most of my time is spent producing content. So I do have the Good Morning AI podcast that I produce myself. And then, but as far as listening, I don't think so. I have
And
a
I
couple
follow that
books that
too.
I've read that I really like. Let me go into Audible. Let me see here. Cause, I could do it on my phone. Hold on. Cause I was listening to a really good book the other day. Audible. Oh, and I do want to share with you that we got a request this week to start a category around consultancy. And I've had a very good run of my consultancy that we started. I mean, the company itself started probably 10 years ago, but we just got serious in February of this year. And we were able to do, well, very, very, very well. We're like in 7 figures so far, and we're headed to like 3.4 million, I think, by the end of the year if we don't. And I'm just getting started. So I'm actually got a goal set for $10 million in our organization. But I was like, it was such a great question. And Wes and I have talked a lot. Wes and I go way, way back, like way before AI back. So like 15 years. And so I was really excited to see that I've talked to him many times about starting a consultancy, but there's so many cool things that we can share with each other. So I thought it would be, I definitely agreed with creating. Joe Blately is also starting a consultancy. There's several people in the community that are starting businesses right now with the education that they have. And so I wanted to feed that. Also, though, do know that in the AI Leadership Institute, we actually are going to incubate these companies. So we're going to go through sales. All my workshops that I have are sales, marketing, basically how to grow your business with artificial intelligence. And so we're going to actually teach that content to people in the AI Leadership Institute. So that's another level for those of you who are like wanting to go big. We're going to actually build businesses there, but at least now in the free community, we have a chance to just talk about it. And there's no holds barred. I share everything I can, but it'll probably be in text and comment format. But such a good topic. I love it. I think it's such a great idea. And I also wanted to use that as an example to let you all know that anytime you're like, hey, can we have a topic on this? Or I'd really like to talk about that. Like, all you have to do is ask. There's not really much that holds me back from like just creating a space that we all want to be in and learn from. If you want to hear from certain industry experts, like we can invite people here. We can also invite each other. We could do lightning talks. So if you have ideas and you want to help, help facilitate some of those things in the community, please reach out to me. I'd love to have, more than just me talking all the time. Though, of course, I usually have plenty to say, but I would love it to be a little bit more of you all, especially as the community grows. I think we're going to need specialists in different areas like Rick with education or Talisha and blockchain. Like, I think we're going to have people just naturally kind of take on the ability to support people that are coming from very specific. There's another woman, I think Lisa, who's in tax professionals. Like, people should know that there's someone in the community that can help. Ellison is a marketer. So if you have questions, I want to be able to guide you to someone who can maybe take you even further. All right, let's see what else we got in here. Anyone throw in any additional? Oh yeah, Matt Wolf. Oh yeah, thanks, Lex. Perfect. And Lex, I think, has a book out as well. Gregory is here. What? Good to see
his
you.
the future tools of Matt Wolf is the like every tool there is. It's not the type of high-end tools that you guys work with, but literally no matter what your specialty, it's a newsletter. It's all free.
Yeah.
So you get the newsletter, the news of the day, weekly or whatever you want. But Future Tools is a place where you go say, I want in education, what are all the tools and what are the reviews?
100%. Yeah, and it's really cool. Like, it also is an example of anyone. Literally, he is not an AI expert. Like, he literally is just like a reviewer of tools, and it's hilarious. It's like really fun. But it just goes to show that like my kid's dream of becoming a YouTube star is totally achievable, because he literally just gets on and he was on YouTube doing the same thing for a very long time, and no one cared about him. And it just so happened that the world kind of caught up to the reviews he was doing, and now he's doing really well. So he makes millions on YouTube now. So it just goes to show, if you want to be a YouTube star, you totally could do it. Just like find a topic and keep talking about it. It could take you years, but it can happen.
And he talks about his automation system just to get all that stuff done. Doing the Future Tools, he spent a whole episode just how to do it.
Yeah, it's
and then
really
the
fun.
Lex Fridman, there's 2 that I would highly recommend people watch. The CEO of Perplexity was on there talking about it, and he basically gave the whole keys to the kingdom of how Google works, and how he took everything he learned at OpenAI and at Google and mashed it together, and how he's a real disruptor. And
Yeah.
I think it's one of my favorite new tools.
That reminds me of a podcast. What is it? Business Wars or something? I don't know, but I'll look it up and send it to you all. But there's a podcast that goes into all these different businesses and talks about kind of how they were formed. from Skip, like the Mars company that makes like candy, to Coach bags, to companies like it wasn't OpenAI. Who was it? I can't remember, but it was one of the GPT model. Oh, Hugging Face. So Hugging Face was created. It was really cool. So to your point, I like listening and hearing about origination stories and then how they like figured it out and how long it took them. I always think it's very interesting for us to not just think that people just like come up with an idea and are instantly successful. Many of these are like 7-10 years in the making, if not longer. So it's cool to hear those stories. So yeah, I love that. Thank you. Awesome. Any others, ideas, suggestions, shout outs before we close the call for today? We do this every week. Rick, change your calendar. It's 4:00 EST.
I just did.
Rain or shine. Yeah. And the best thing to do is to go into the community and just click the link. You are all, of course, welcome to check out the AI Leadership Institute. There is a quick, short link inside the community under those, right above, like, maybe I'll just show it to you really quick, but you can always hop over there and check out what we're doing. We just finished the Chatbot Builder certification. We're right in the middle of our Microsoft Copilot super user certification. And then we will be starting the GitHub Model Playground certification, which is a brand new tool. And there is no certification for it, which is why Microsoft reached out to us to be guinea pigs for that process. So it's really cool stuff, but you can't get certified. Of course, it costs, I give you access to tools. I think I paid $9 grand for 25 of us to have access to Copilot. Like, no joke. I didn't know that was going to happen, but I would do it again. But it was really cool. 25 of us got, $320 license for the year to play around with Copilot. But now those licenses are available to rotate through others as you decide to come in and take those certifications. So if you're in the community, as you can see here, you could just click on AI Leadership Institute. It's always here. You can flip back and forth. When you're on the Leadership Institute side, you can go right back and you can see free AI community right here and click back and forth. So it's easy to navigate. Thanks, Yuvika, for that tip, by the way.
Yeah, Perplexity just announced they're giving Perplexity away for free, the Pro version, to all LinkedIn Pro subscribers.
Awesome. I mean, but it's so incestuous. Like, you got to be a Pro subscriber, which is like not cheap. And like, there's not huge value to being Pro. I mean, unless you want to like LinkedIn stock people, which is valuable, I guess.
Yeah, Adobe does it for free for me. So
yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, same. Like, I'm a Microsoft MVP, so I get it for free, but that's not fair. That's why I like buying it and giving it to people for at least the length of the certification. So really cool. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed it today. It was super fun. Oh, thank you, Michelle. The Acquired podcast has good origin stories. Thank you. That's awesome. So yeah, keep in mind anything that you're willing to share. This call that we do every single Friday is meant to give us a chance to come together, share what we're learning, share resources. And of course, I try to teach you whatever I've learned that week. And there's always something, like this week with Microsoft and their launch, Perplexity. Thank you, Rick, for with that, and the information there and the ability to go and try it for free. So if you're a LinkedIn Premium user, like, hey, go get your license. Those of us in the AI Leadership Institute are also writing a book right now. We got our contract signed. We're in the middle of writing a book. I opened up that to the paid community members, and anyone can play. So we've got a bunch of people who are contributing to the book, and their name will be in the book, and they can say, hey, we wrote the book on, and the title or the topic of the book is OpenAI's GPT Builder. So maybe that is why I decided to build a OpenAI GPT for the level 2 in the AI community, in the iHeart AI community. So if you'll see that soon. But when we go to the onboarding that you'll get to do next week, you will be able to see it as part of your level 2 access. And I think, I don't know, with 81% in level 1, not all of you might be level 2. So now's the time to level up. So it's been fun. Thank you for hanging out with me. Let me know if you need anything. You can DM me anytime. I'm in school all the time, every day. So trying to keep my fire emoji coming. Don't forget to be nice to each other, support each other's information, share what you're learning. This is just as much about you all as it is about what I'm learning. So I learned just as much from you as hopefully you are learning from me. So thank you for being here. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you all next week.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Have a
Yep.
great weekend.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Thank you, Noel.
Thank you.
Yeah.